Alright, so we've got the disassembly of the South Bend Model 9C gearbox. Not quite enough room here. Pretty straightforward. You're going to need some simple tools. Hammer, some punches. You're going to need two 7/8 wrenches. Don't have mine here. I'm going to be using 2 adjustables. And a slot screwdriver. First thing we're going to be doing, taking this lead screw off. You need your 2 wrenches. These are already loose because I had this disassembled already, so they're finger tight for me. Or almost finger tight. Again, proper wrenches, way better. Don't have mine here. Lead screw, it's gonna just pull it through the side. We're gonna get that gear off as well. Gear comes off. There is a key that holds the gear on. So we don't lose anything, put it all back together. We're gonna set that off to the side. Alright, so we're going to take out this shaft right here. There's a pin here. It's not a taper pin, but it does have a curve to it. We're going to drive it out from the top. Starting with a brass punch, and we'll move to something longer after. I don't think I have a brass one on that size. Finish it off with this long punch. I believe it's already curved from doing this in the past. The curve of this pin goes like this, opposite of the curve of the circumference of the shaft. Just keep that in mind as you drive it out. And we're out. So when you put it back in, that curve goes like that. Fuck. You can see where the shaft's worn against the pin there. Goes like that again. The curve's going to point away that way. We'll set that aside. Just make our life a little easier. We're going to take off this part here that aligns the gear selectors. Just need a slot screwdriver. Make sure you get one that fits your slots pretty good. The typical slot screwdriver now has a tendency to cam out and you'll fuck up all the slot screws. Two screws, it's out. Just gonna tilt it, slide it out, set that off to the side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drive out this shaft. So we're going to take these selector levers, move them all the way back. This shaft is just going to push out. You probably don't even need to tap it. As soon as you get it about that far, we're going to take off the 2 selector levers. Oh shit, they go off the other side. All right, so that's my fault there. If you look, at the end of the shaft in that groove, there's a little felt strip for lubrication. You're just gonna gently remove that. You can buy replacement kits depending how worn yours are. This one was recently changed, so we're just gonna set that aside. Now we're gonna drive this pin out the correct way. Okay, selector lever off the end. The gear's gonna fall out. Set this assembly aside. Another felt pad. And this one out. So that second felt pad came off the back. There's 2 keyways here. Shaft all the way out. Right there, there's the shaft. So everyone can see, this part came out here. These 2 go in on this side. And you're gonna drive your pin from the right side towards the left, like that. When we took out that shaft, we got our 2 selector levers here. They're very straightforward to disassemble. So that one gear here that was on that shaft with the 2 keyways, it comes out. This gear here, easy to remove. This is a straight pin. Punch it out, you need a die at the back. I'm not going to do that here. To remove the spring-loaded plunger, there is, right there, there's a pin right about there. Yeah, nice and focused. You see that? Focus on that. There you go. Nope. Fuck. Anyways, it's right there. It's very hard to find if this is tarnished. And it's also going to be turned down to the same curvature of the outside. So when you reinsert it, you want to match that up before. There you go. You can see it's pretty flush. That's all you do. You drive that pin out. This is completely loose. And you do that after you take this out. And your 2 selector levers are made mirrored. Or assembled mirrored, I should say. They go in like this. Notice you have the tooth section of the gear here and nothing here on this side. The one on the left is opposite. If you have trouble disassembling these, let me know. Maybe I'll make a video on that. I just don't feel like doing it. So we'll set these aside. Go back to our main gearbox. Turn it over. Next thing we do is to take out this shaft and this shaft. Oh, sorry. One other feature of that last shaft we were talking about is another felt pad right here. You can take that one out. You'll see a little hole there at the back. This shaft is fed from this oil cap. It'll come down and lubricate a bunch of things in here. So we'll set that felt pad aside with the shaft we removed. Going back to this. This pin here, center that. This pin's a taper pin. This one is not. Like always, we'll start off with our brass punch, see if we can move it. You really don't want to fuck up your taper pins. They just become a pain in the ass if you fuck it up. So we're going to look for which side has a smaller circle, and they're very, very subtle. This one looks like the larger one, so we're going to drive it out from the small side. There we go. Nice and easy. There you go. You can see, if you're not familiar with taper pins, it has that slight taper. Makes it so when you drive it in, it locks in nice, but it's a lot easier to get out than a straight pin with the same amount of force once it's installed. All right, this one we're going to drive up from the bottom here. Nice and gentle. Most of the way with the brass. I'll finish it off with this one. And again, if you have a longer brass one, that's great. I don't. I just get to risk fucking up my steel punches, which I have already done on this lathe once. There's the pin from here. Like that. Set those aside. So you get this shaft out here. Pretty straightforward. You take a nice beefy punch. Put it through the side that had the lead screw. Rest it in there. Get out of your way. Couple gentle taps, that moves pretty easily. There's that collar off. Set that aside. Just continue with this. And it really just slides out after that. There's that shaft removed. It's got a key there. Felt in here for lubrication. Remove the felt. Remove the key. And we'll set these aside. Pulling our punch back, we have the first two gears that come out. They go back in like this. Set those aside as well. Pull this out. You can take this brass sleeve out here, that's what that small punch was for, or you can leave it in. Up to you. I don't need to take it out for my purposes here. You can see inside the holes there for lubrication. In the back there. All right, about there. Okay, now for the last set of gears. We're going to be looking right here. It's all held in, this whole stack, with this taper pin right here. Look for the big side. One side there. This one looks like the big one to me. I believe so. Let's find out. Give it a light tap on the small side. It's definitely the small side, but it's in there a bit, so we don't peen it over and make our lives miserable. We'll just use the brass punch from here. There we go. Now she's moving right out. Yeah, if you will on these without a punch, you're going to peen the small side if you're not careful, and then you have a way bigger problem. There's that taper pin, larger than the one before. All right, so taking our beefy punch, I'm going to drive out the shaft where we just removed the taper pin from, going from, I guess, my left to the right. It is technically the left side of the gearbox. All right, punch goes in. I'm just going to drive it. Got most of the way, but not all. Take these first two gears out, 3, sorry. Set them aside in the order they go so we don't fuck it up. Pull the rest of the stack off. And again, we're going to leave it in the order they came off. There's that shaft. So you have to drive it from the correct side, and again, felt strip in here and a key right here. There's the hole for that taper pin, so it's very important you get it oriented correctly when you reinstall it. Focus. Anyways, there that is, right here. The stack of gears, this stack, the change of sizes, has a pin that holds them in line. So you'll see it starting on, I believe it's the third one. Yeah, the third one, there's that divot in there, right there. Hole straight through. A hole straight through. Straight through again if it wants to focus. Well, it's there whether it focuses or not, you fuck. There you go. And again, the final one. You fucking cunt. There you go. Well, it's a fucking gear. Use your imagination. We're going to set this stack aside with the pin. Flip this back over. You pretty much have it disassembled as much as I imagine you want to go. As much as I'm going to go. I took this apart and cleaned it up 2 years ago, so I'm not going any further. These oil cups right here, they just come out with a pair of pliers. That's all. Grab them, pull them, you'll probably break it. Just order new ones. McMaster Car sells them. Very easy to get. These are screw nails. Again, once you take them out, you're probably not reusing it. To get these out, cut a little slot with like a Dremel, hacksaw, whatever. Use a screwdriver with a shit ton of force back down onto the unit. If that's not working, there's those impact screwdrivers that mechanics use. I don't know what the fuck it's called. That's pretty useful for this too. Ton of force directly down into it while turning it. You'll get it out enough and then you just pry it. It's easy. Brass plate will pop off. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Again, these screw nails we purchased at McMaster Car, and I'll let you in on a little secret. If you put any company name, they'll ship it to you in Canada. It's easy. Just make one up. Here on the top, or from where it came off on the lathe. Once I take them out, I put them back in order so I know where they came from. You can see that the previous owners of this lathe have just fucking mangled these with the wrong size flathead screwdrivers and just not giving a shit. So don't do that to your lathe. Don't do it at all to anything. And in some of these ways here, there we go, more lubricating felt strips. I'm gonna leave those in there. If you have any questions, message me. Maybe I'll take it apart and figure it out, but you shouldn't. And more lubricating strips right here, right here. These are all brand new. You can buy a kit online or you can just buy the felt and make your own. They're really not hard. I bought them. I'm lazy. Whoever those people on eBay are just fucking extorting people for them. And that's it. So that pretty much sums up the disassembly process of the gearbox. We got our selector levers here. We got that first shaft we took out, the 2 felt pads go on either side. Felt pad for in the bearing way that it goes into, and the slightly bent pin that goes back in. We got the 2 screws and this little plate that lines up the selector levers. Little notches there. Line up with these right here. That's what slides in and out. Got our lead screw with the gear that was on it and the 2 nuts. Got this part here, the shaft, the felt that goes inside. Felt goes there. The little key that goes in here, our taper pin and our straight pin, and the collar there. There's the gearbox assembly. Like I said, I wasn't going to take off the oil cups. You're welcome to do that. You probably want to and replace them. Mine were in horrible condition. You pull them off with a pair of pliers. Got your screw nails here. Make a little slot, take them out like a screw. If you need to, put a lot of force towards the inside of the hole as you twist so you don't cam out. They'll come out easy. I had no issue. Then we have this final shaft with all the gearing on it. There's our stack, the pin that goes inside in that little hole here. This is the piece with the taper pin, goes in there. There's our taper pin. There's the hole the taper pin goes through, and the 3 gears from the left-hand side there. That's it. Disassembled gearbox, South Bend Model 9A.